Hello and welcome to today's webinar where we'll be looking at how Bsure can help you prepare for Windows 10 going out of support. My name is Olav Helland. I'm a cloud architect at Bsure and one of the co-founders. With me today I have Knut Dale Svendsen, who is responsible for customer success here at Bsure. So before we get started, let me show you what we'll talk about the next half an hour or so. First, we'll explain what extended security updates are, or ESU, as we call them for short. Then we'll take a look at what Windows 10 end of life means. After that, we'll do a demo of the Bsure Windows operating system report and show how it can be used to gain insights into your own environment. Finally, we'll set aside time for a Q&A at the end in case there should be any questions. But before we jump into that, I'd like to set the stage just a bit. This pyramid is taken from the Microsoft Digital Defense Report from 2024, and it illustrates how cybersecurity fits together, inspired by the Maslow hierarchy of needs pyramid. So at Bsure, we have focused a lot on identities, which you find on the bottom layer of the pyramid. But the next layer is protecting the endpoints, and that highlights that it's second to identities, protecting endpoints, keeping them patched and updated is a very important foundation for your cybersecurity needs. So let's jump to it. Now we'll take a look at some Microsoft slides describing what ESUs are. So this is how Microsoft describes the program themselves. They call it a bridge to Windows 11. When mainstream support for Windows 10 ends on October 14, organizations can purchase extended security updates. In mainstream support, you have feature and quality updates, you have security updates, and you also have product supports. But unlike the mainstream support, the ESUs only provides critical and important security updates. And the important thing is also that it's only for devices running Windows 10 version 22H2. You do get support for the activation of these and the installation of them, but you don't get like product support on Windows 10, even with the ESUs. You purchase them 1 year at a time with the option to extend for up to 3 years, and it's available for purchase now. So the key point being that extended security updates are not a long-term strategy. It's a temporary safety net that gives you time to move forward to Windows 11. And here is a simple timeline just showing that you buy these and they become available each year. If you, for some reason, in year 2 decide you need ESUs, then you buy the year 2, then you also have to buy for year 1. Let's take a look on how Microsoft offer these. There are 3 main tracks, so Windows 365, including cloud PCs and also for Azure virtual desktops. There is no activation necessary and it requires no extra steps. It will be included. So for most organizations, the challenge is with the physical devices. These are the ones that create the most work and costs. So to deploy the ESUs, you need to use Mac keys to do the activation. And you can do that via scripting using Intune using Intune or System Center Configuration Manager. And you can also use the volume activation management tool for this. The price is $61 per device for year one. What is not communicated that much is that the price doubles each year, meaning that for year two, the price will be $122, and for year three, it will be $244 per device. There is a discount if you cloud manage the devices with Windows Autopatch or Intune, and the discount is 25%. That was the Windows 10 offering in short. We'll make sure to add some links when we do send out the recording. So Windows 10 goes out of support very soon. It's almost just 2 weeks from now on October 14. So when a Windows 10 or operating system reaches end of life, this primarily means no more security updates. Any new vulnerabilities discovered after this date will not be fixed. And attackers also know this, so like the same thing happened when Windows 7 went out of support. Attackers started targeting new vulnerabilities in end-of-life support operating systems. And there will also be no more bug fixes or improvement in the operating system. You don't get those with ESUs either, but it's the way it is. For some organizations, this also creates compliance risks, especially in heavily regulated industries. Running an unsupported operating system can lead to audit findings and, in the worst case, in some cases, fines. In addition, vendor support may gradually disappear. So many application vendors stop supporting Windows 10 once Microsoft does. So that's also something to think about. And finally, the cost element. If you need extended security updates, they come at a price, and it increases every year, as we talked about earlier. That was it for the introduction. I'll quickly switch screen and share my Bsure Insights demo application. So this is the main dashboard in Bsure Insights. Not much about the devices here, so we will have to go to the devices report, and we can take a quick look at the Windows dashboard first. Here we have an end-of-life Windows tile, and like in this example, there are 62 devices that already is out of support. Active ones, and on October 14 in this data set, this number will increase drastically, as we'll soon see. What we're going to show today is mostly the Windows operating system report. And I'll talk a little bit about the slicer selections you can do on top here and what they mean. So first of all, we have the device state. So a quick selection could be to look for all active devices. This will filter on and show only devices that has had activity against Entra ID for the last 90 days. If you would want to use other time frames and 90 days is not what you look for, you can use the device activity calendar selection instead and set the selections you want to use there. But let's stay with active devices for now. And the enabled slicer is simply filtering out devices that are disabled. So a disabled device cannot be used for accessing Entra ID or Microsoft 365 anyways. So, but keep in mind there could be reasons a device was temporarily disabled. So look at it in if it recently was active, you might take a look at it. The owner slicer is if the device, when the device is registered to Entra ID, it will have an owner registered to it. This doesn't happen always, depends on the way you register devices. So for this use case, I'm not sure I would use the owner slicer. At least in this demo data selection, I have a lot of devices without a registered owner, but if in your organization most of the devices have an owner, you could use this this filter as well. I'll just leave it blank for now. And now there's the interesting part. We do have two selections here that can help you filter to see if your devices are managed or not. First, the managed slicer here. Every device in Entra has a property that says is managed and true or false. It usually correlates with the joint type, the joint types, but there can be discrepancies. So the joint types here are there might be a little bit difference in the view here. So I'm using Bsure Insights version 2 to demo now. In version 1, what's called Azure ID here is called Entra joined, and what's called Server ID is called Hybrid joined, and what's called Workplace here is called Registered in version 1. But it means like those that are Azure ID or Entra joined, they are devices you have joined to Entra through Intune. The ones called Server ID or Hybrid joined are servers that are, computers that are joined to your on-premises Active Directory and at the same time hybrid joined to Entra. And the Workplace one are the ones that are only registered to Entra, typically the devices that you don't manage. However, if you do have devices managed on-prem and haven't joined them to Entra, hybrid joined them to Entra ID, they would probably be Workplace joined here, or registered as it's also called. For the demo purposes, we'll look at the Azure AD joint devices. And in this focus table, we have all the different Windows versions sorted on end of life date. So these are the Windows versions in my environment that will go out of support, that already is out of support or will go out of support on October 14th. What will it's only the Windows 10 version 22H2 that you can install extended security updates for. So you can select that one, and you will get a list of all the active, enabled, and Azure ID or Entra ID joined devices in your organization. And you can simply export this list and work with it outside of the application if you want to. Any version that is prior to 22H2, you must upgrade to minimum 22H2 in order to be able to add extended security updates. Also note that the Windows 11 22H2 goes out of support at the same time, but those machines are already upgraded to Windows 11 and have a shorter path to a newer build, but you should keep that in mind also. We have one more, I have one more point I'd like to make, and that is buying extended security updates is fine on the devices that you know that you won't be able to upgrade soon. But if you in your environment have a lot of unmanaged devices that you don't have control over and you allow them to consume data from your environment the same way you do with the managed one, then you probably also should take a look at that. In this demo environment, if I click Manage No here, the numbers go down pretty much. I can take blank. I go, sorry, like this. I do have a few, but I do have most of them as managed. I've seen organizations where there are a lot of unmanaged devices, and those you cannot buy, or not in a simple way anyways. You cannot add the extended security updates. So then you should also focus on getting management on all your devices. So it's just food for thought. So I'll clear the slicers here now. I just want to show you, on the top here, we have some filter templates for quick filtering. And there's a filter here called Show Active Devices with Support Ending Next 12 Months. So this will only show the devices that will go out of support in the next year, and the 22H2 ones show up here. So that's also a quick way to find those. And I can choose to look at only the Azure AD devices again. And the same 677 devices as we looked at prior is here. That was what I planned to demo. Let's take a look again on the slides. And we are now here. So let's do a quick summary. October 14 is approaching very fast. So Windows 10 devices will still run, but they won't get any security updates. And ESUs is meant as a temporary measure. It gives you time, but the cost increases each year and it's not a permanent solution. And as we talked about in the demo, it's important to think about the difference between managed and unmanaged devices. There's little point, I won't say no point, but the point is lesser if you want to pay for ESUs, if the organization still allows uncontrolled devices to connect to Microsoft 365. And what we can help with in Bsure is to bring visibility into which devices are actually running Windows 10 and help you make smarter decisions, whether you want to upgrade, retire, or buy ESUs. So that was what we had planned to talk about today. If there are any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you, and we'll make sure to share the recording so people can share it if they found it valuable. So with that, I say thank you for today and see you again next time.